beyond compare. I think that somebody way ahead of me, a long time ago here in Owatonna, worked hard and crafted a very sound system that is the basis for the education that we have here in Owatonna today. I couldn't be more proud of that. I'm a Boy Scout. And when I was a Boy Scout, they always said, you got to leave a place better than you found it. When you go camping and you're out in a place that's out in nature, you got to make sure that you leave it in better shape than you found it. I absolutely, positively believe that. I think that I have a responsibility that I've got to give back. Owatonna School District was good to me, it's been good to my kids, and I take it upon myself to leave it in an even better place for your kids and your grandkids.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson.
Why should you vote for Dave Anderson? Well, first, I do have experience on the board. I've been on it for a year. There's a lot that I've learned in that year, and right now it's a critical time with all the things we have going up with the superintendent search, with the levy potential coming up, with the budget cuts. We have a lot of things that we really have to tackle right away. We need somebody that can hit the ground running. I have tremendous drive. I'm doing this because I want to do this. I have a lot of other things that keep me busy, but I certainly have a drive to continue to do this, and I engage the community in that process. I truly have a focus on the kids. I've been doing various things with the community. I've been coaching and refereeing and doing a lot of stuff for 15 years. This is just a different avenue for me to help engage in the community. I have a tremendous head for numbers. I think Tom Sager will attest to that. I do quiz him on numbers and ask him a lot more detail. We get the budget book and I'm still asking him more questions on why is this number here? Can you explain to me this number doesn't seem to match up with this? Can you explain this detail? And I do push for that, and I have a strong head for numbers as we go through these budget cuts. Certainly the first level, the high level cut, but then we have to understand each one of those cuts, what do they mean when you go down and drill down into the detail, and not just, we're going to cut 3 teachers. That means we're going to increase the class sizes at Lincoln from 22 to 24 in the 2nd grade. We need to understand to that level of detail at the board level so we can make sure that we don't do things that interfere with our goal of making sure that we're focusing on the kids. And I'm open-minded. When I look at decisions and approach anything that comes across, I don't go in with a preconceived notion. I don't necessarily think that I know most of the stuff before we get there. But through the discussions that we have with the board and through trying to take a reasonable approach to solving these problems, taking a creative approach, looking at different solutions, looking at how we can not just take the simple solution, but let's figure out what the best solution is. That's kind of what I specialize in, is finding those unique solutions.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Van Noorden.
Well, I'd ask you the question, is there anything more important to this community than a quality school system? And a second question, as people from the outside look at our community, isn't it the quality of the school system that most measures whether they are going to locate their business here, come here to work, or come here to live? This community has given my family the best gift that it could give, and that's a quality education for my kids. All of my kids have 4-year college degrees, and 2 of them have master's degrees. I'm running for the school board to give back to my community the great gift, since they've given this great gift to me and my family. So what do I have to give, is the next question you might ask. First, my experience teaching and working with business management. I have long worked with business analysis, budgeting, long-range planning. I've helped many farm families work through some very serious economic situations that they found themselves in. I think that many of these skills and insights can be applied to the situation of the local school district faces now, as revenues shrink and as demand for services from the school system increase. Secondly, I'm an experienced educator. I understand that there's more to education than simply producing a product or a service. We are affecting people's lives and their futures, and we're affecting the future of this community. My experience comes from outside the school system, which I think is an advantage that I have. I think it gives me a little different insight into the issues that the school district may be facing. I also know that the aha moments is what a teacher lives for. The aha moments that we have with our students as they apply what they're learning to their lives.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Mr. KJ Wall.
Thank you, and thanks to everybody for giving us the opportunity to talk to you, and I welcome anybody to ask these questions, whether we're out and about in the public, and I know you will, because I've not been able to go to the grocery store or anywhere in the community without somebody asking these questions, and I like that. I enjoy having those conversations, but I'll end where I started. The three issues that, regardless of who's in office, I think we've got to tackle. It's first and foremost the credibility issue and gathering trust in the community of the board and the administration. I learned very quickly when I was appointed into the board position that we've got very challenging substantive issues that we've got to tackle, and those are hard and challenging enough in and of themselves, but what I also learned is that we've got a credibility issue to face too, because if teachers don't believe, if teachers feel that we're protecting certain programs over the others and we're not going to approach budget issues equitably, if the business community doesn't trust that we're truly in a financial issue or a crisis now, we're not going to tackle any of the issues that I know are problems facing our school system today. That's why I say, even before we balance the budget and how we handle our financial issues, we've got to tackle the credibility issue before we try and hire a superintendent that the community is going to trust and not believe that it's somebody that we found and targeted to carry out the agenda of some prior administration. We've got to tackle and address that issue. How do you do that? It's the little things. You make it an open and fair process for everybody in the community and all the stakeholders, and that's really how we'll approach it. Once you've established the credibility, it's quite simple. Then you apply the same process to the same issues, whether it's budget or hiring superintendent. You get your stakeholders invested, you make them knowledgeable, and then they become our advocates to push change in the community, and that's the process that I'll stick to. My kids are started in the system, and
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Efforts. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so I thank the candidates for your time and commitment to this important cause. Great dialogue today. Let's give them a big moment. Again, final thank yous to the two Rotary clubs for putting this on, the Chamber of Commerce, the KFO, and of course Jeffrey doing a great job as moderator, and the People's Press for covering this event. And as you mentioned, we got 3 more of these things coming up, so hopefully we'll see you next week at City Council and Mayor. And then we'll have Senate races and State Rep, and then finally County Commissioners. So thank you for your time. Have a good night.